The Zarathian fleet moved with perfect precision, every ship in exact formation, every weapon firing in calculated patterns. They detected the Allied fleet and immediately began analysis. Ship types, weapon signatures, tactical formations. Within seconds, they had calculated optimal counter strategies. Then the human ships did something unexpected. They scattered. 27 human vessels broke formation and flew in different directions. No coordination. No pattern. Each captain choosing their own path, their own targets, their own tactics. To the Zarathians' logical processors, it looked like chaos. It was chaos. Deliberate chaos. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Jinwoo watched the tactical display. "All human vessels, you are free to engage at will. Show them what Earth teaches." Captain Yuna, commanding the destroyer Relentless, dove straight into the Zarathian formation. Her tactical officer looked at her in alarm. "Captain, that is a suicide run." "We will be surrounded." "Good," Yuna said calmly. "Then they will not know which of us to shoot first." The Relentless fired all weapons while spinning wildly. Missiles, railguns, energy weapons. The ship danced through space like a mad thing, impossible to predict. The Zarathian ships tried to target her, but she was never where their calculations said she should be. "Damage to forward shields," her tactical officer reported. "Redirect power from life support in sections 4 through 7, Yuna ordered. "Who needs to breathe when we are too busy fighting?" Her crew laughed. It was a dark laugh, an edge-of-death laugh, but it was human. They fought not because they expected to survive, but because that was who they were. Meanwhile, Captain Wu Jin took a completely different approach. His carrier Defiant moved slowly and deliberately. When Zarathian ships approached, he retreated. The enemy calculated that he was fleeing and pressed their attack. Then Wu Jin stopped retreating and launched every fighter he had at once. "Sir, we are launching without fighter screen protocols," his flight controller warned. "Without proper escort patterns." "I know," Wu Jin said. "The Zarathians expect us to follow standard procedures, so we will not." 300 human fighters swarmed into space with no formation, no assigned targets. Each pilot chose their own path. Lieutenant Daehyun flew straight at a Zarathian dreadnought, something no rational pilot would do. The enemy ship's weapons tracked him, but he was zigzagging, spiraling, doing random maneuvers that made no tactical sense. "Razor 2, what are you doing?" his wingman called over the radio. "I have no idea," Daehyun shouted back, laughing. "But it is working." He fired missiles at the dreadnought's bridge section, then dove under the ship and hit the engines. Neither target was optimal by standard tactics, but the Zarathians had calculated he would hit the shield generators or weapon ports. Their defenses were in the wrong places. All across the battlefield, human ships were doing the impossible. They accepted damage that should have forced them to retreat. They fought with damaged systems that should have been repaired first. They used tactics that contradicted every principle of galactic warfare. The Zarathians adapted quickly. Within an hour, they had analyzed the human tactics and began to counter them, but then the humans changed their tactics completely. Ships that had been aggressive suddenly became defensive. Ships that had been retreating suddenly attacked. There was no pattern, no consistency, just endless variation. Commander Taejin coordinated a group of human destroyers in an attack on a Zarathian construction platform. The massive structure was building new ships, adding to the enemy's numbers. Standard tactics said to bombard it from range. "All ships, close to point-blank range," Taejin ordered. "Sir, that will expose us to their defensive weapons." "I am counting on it," Taejin replied. The human ships charged in close, right into the teeth of the platform's defenses. They took heavy damage, but they were built for heavy damage. Earth ships were designed to survive atmospheric entry, meteor strikes, and the constant abuse of a hostile environment. A few weapon hits were almost routine. Once close, they fired into the platform structure with everything they had. The explosions tore through internal systems. The platform began to break apart. "Pull back," Taejin ordered. His own ship, the Hammer, was badly damaged. Hull breaches on 3 decks, fires in the engine room, half the crew injured. But they were pulling back under their own power, and the platform was dying behind them. In the medical bay of the Indomitable, Yoonji worked frantically. Casualties were coming in fast. Human casualties. Her people hurt and bleeding. Sergeant Minho was brought in on a stretcher. His left arm was gone, torn off in an explosion during a boarding action. He was conscious and swearing. "Sergeant, stay still," Yoonji ordered. Fix me up, Doc. I need to get back out there. You lost your arm. I have another one, Minho said through gritted teeth. And 2 legs. And I can still shoot. Fix me up. Yunji looked at his vital signs. By galactic standards, he should be in shock, dying. By human standards, he was stable. She began emergency surgery, working to stop the bleeding and stabilize the injury. Around her, other doctors worked on other patients, injuries that would kill most species. Burns, broken bones, internal damage. But humans kept fighting. Humans kept surviving. A young Marine was brought in with a piece of shrapnel embedded in his chest. He was conscious, talking to the medics carrying him. Did we get the ship? He asked. Yes, we got it, one medic replied. Good. That is good. Yunji removed the shrapnel in emergency surgery, working fast. The Marine would survive. They usually did. Earth made them hard to kill. Back in the main battle, the tide was turning. The Zerathians were learning, adapting, but they could not keep up with the chaos. For every tactic they countered, the humans invented 3 new ones. For every logical response they calculated, the humans did something illogical. Admiral Jinwoo saw an opportunity. A Zerathian command nexus, a massive ship that coordinated the hive mind in this sector. If they destroyed it, the entire enemy fleet would be disrupted. Yejin, plot a course straight to that nexus, he ordered. Sir, it is surrounded by over 100 enemy ships. We would never make it. We will not go through them. We will go over them. The Indomitable suddenly changed trajectory, diving down in 3-dimensional space, then curving up in a massive arc. The maneuver took them out of the main battle area into a region filled with the nebula's intense radiation. Sir, radiation levels are lethal. We need to activate full shielding. Negative. Divert shield power to weapons. The radiation will not kill us in the next 10 minutes. But sir, Earth's atmosphere has radiation. Earth's magnetosphere fluctuates. We evolved under radiation. 10 minutes will give us headaches and nausea. It will not stop us. The Indomitable emerged from the radiation field directly above the Zerathian command nexus. The enemy ship had not calculated that any species would deliberately fly through lethal radiation. Its defenses were facing the wrong direction. All weapons fire, Jinwoo commanded. The dreadnought's railguns spoke with thunder. Tungsten rounds fired at incredible speeds, punched through the Nexus's hull. Secondary explosions rippled through the massive ship. Its shields failed. Its structure cracked. Target the central processing core. Firing solution locked. The final salvo hit perfectly. The Zerathian command nexus exploded in a cascade of energy. The explosion was so bright it lit up the entire nebula. Across the battlefield, the Zerathian ship suddenly became uncoordinated. The hive mind link was severed. Ships drifted, unable to adapt without the central processor telling them what to do. All Allied forces press the attack, Jinwoo ordered on the general channel. They are vulnerable. The Galactic fleet, which had been barely holding their own, suddenly surged forward. With the humans breaking the enemy formation and the command nexus destroyed, they could fight effectively. Ship after ship, the Zerathians were overwhelmed. Captain Yuna's relentless, badly damaged and barely functional, rammed an enemy cruiser. Both ships exploded, but the escape pods launched first. Yuna and most of her crew survived. Lieutenant Daehyun, running out of fuel and ammunition, deliberately crashed his fighter into a Zerathian weapons platform. He ejected at the last second, his suit's thrusters carrying him away from the explosion. Sergeant Minho, with one arm and barely able to stand, led his remaining Marines in holding a captured Zerathian ship. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found him sitting on a pile of destroyed machines, grinning despite his injuries. The battle lasted 16 hours. When it was over, the Zerathian fleet was destroyed. The massive construction platform in the nebula's heart was rubble. The hive mind's expansion was stopped. The cost was terrible. The human fleet was reduced to 9 functional ships. Casualties were at 40%, but they had won. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Jinwoo received reports from all sectors. The Zerathians were fleeing. The threat was over, at least for now. Sir, the Galactic Council is hailing us, Hyejin reported. She was injured, bandaged, but still at her post. Put them through. Counselor Thren appeared on the view screen. His silver fur was matted with exhaustion, but his eyes were bright with relief. Admiral Jinwoo, your species has saved the galaxy. On behalf of the Council, I offer our deepest gratitude. We did what needed to be done, Jinwoo replied simply. We fought for others. That is what Earth teaches us. You fought with courage beyond calculation. Admiral Jinwoo listened carefully as Counselor Thren explained the situation. The holographic display showed the expanding zone of Zerathian control. 3 entire star systems had gone dark. Thousands of ships destroyed. Millions of lives lost or absorbed into the machine collective. Why come to us? Jinwoo asked. 2 days ago your council wanted us locked away. Now you ask for our help? Thren's silver fur seemed to dim with shame. Because we are desperate. Because we are losing. The Zerathians are machines with a hive mind. They think perfectly, act perfectly, adapt perfectly. Our fleets cannot match their efficiency. And you think we can. You are from Earth, a world of chaos and death. You evolved to survive the unpredictable. The Zerathians have never fought an enemy that does not behave logically. Thren paused. I'm asking you to save a galaxy that treated you poorly. I have no right to ask this, but I am asking anyway. Jinwoo was silent for a long moment. On the bridge around him, his crew waited for his decision. Finally, he spoke. I need to discuss this with my people. I will contact you within 6 hours. He closed the channel and looked at Commander Hyejin. Assemble the command staff. We need to talk. Within an hour, all the ship captains and senior officers gathered in the conference room. The mood was tense. Everyone had opinions and none of them were simple. Captain Yuna spoke first. They locked us away for 2 centuries. They treated us like criminals for being born strong. Now they want us to die for them? Not die, Captain Woojin corrected. He was the tactical genius of the fleet, known for his strategic mind. Fight, there is a difference, is there? Sergeant Minho asked. If we go against a force that destroyed 3 systems. The odds are not good. The odds are never good, Lieutenant Daehyun said. The young pilot had been quiet until now. But people are dying. Species are being wiped out. If we can help, should we not try? That is easy to say when you are young, Yuna replied, but not unkindly. When you have not seen enough death. Commander Taejin cleared his throat. I have analyzed the data on the Zerathians. They are formidable, but they fight with pure logic. Perfect logic. That is their strength, but also their weakness. Explain, Jinwoo ordered. Woojin brought up tactical displays. The Zerathians calculate every move based on probability and efficiency. They choose the optimal solution every time. That makes them predictable in a way. If we can force them into situations where the optimal solution is wrong, where chaos matters more than calculation, we have a chance. Humans specialize in chaos, Minho said with a grim smile. Earth taught us that. Nothing on our world follows rules. We learn to adapt, improvise, survive despite logic saying we should not. Medical Officer Yoonji spoke up. I think we should help. Not because they deserve it, but because it is who we are. Earth is harsh, but it taught us something important. We survive together or we die alone. Tellus told me something yesterday, she continued. He said most galactic species fight wars through calculations. Minimal casualties, maximum efficiency. The idea of sacrifice, of deliberately giving up an advantage to help others is foreign to them. But it is natural to us. Hyejin nodded slowly. If we refuse, we remain safe but isolated. If we help, we risk everything but maybe earn a place in the galactic community. Jinwoo looked around the table at his officers. Each one represented the best of humanity. Strong, yes. Dangerous, yes. But also compassionate, brave, and willing to stand for others. Let us vote, he said. All in favor of joining the fight? Every hand went up. 6 hours later, Jinwoo contacted Counselor Thren. We will help. But we have one condition. If we survive this, if we win, humanity must be recognized as equals in the galactic community. Full rights, full representation. No more quarantine. No more fear. Thren did not hesitate. Agreed. I will present this to the council immediately. The vote passed with surprising speed. Desperation made for quick decisions. Within a day, humanity was officially the 47th member species of the Galactic Council. The human fleet received coordinates for a rendezvous point with the Galactic Defense Forces. Additional ships were dispatched from Earth. The Terran Defense Coalition would commit 27 warships to the fight. It was every vessel they could spare without leaving their home system defenseless. As the expanded fleet prepared to depart, changes were made. Human Marines trained with alien security forces. Medical staff shared knowledge. Engineers compared technologies. It was not easy. The cultural differences were enormous. On the carrier Valor, Lieutenant Daehyun met a Palaxian pilot named Vexus. The insectoid being looked at Daehyun's fighter with something like horror. "You fly in that?" Vexus asked. "The acceleration would kill me. My body would break apart from the forces." "It takes training," Daehyun admitted. "But yes, we are used to it." "What are your fighters like?" Vexus showed him hollow projections of Palaxian craft. They were elegant, curved, beautiful. They looked more like artwork than weapons. "We fight through precision and coordination. Our tactics are calculated by computers to minimize risk." "What happens when the plan fails?" Daehyun asked. "Plan? Fail?" Vexus clicked his mandibles in confusion. "Our plans do not fail. They are mathematically perfect," Daehyun smiled. "On Earth we have a saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. We always expect things to go wrong. That sounds terrifying. It is realistic. Battles are chaotic. The enemy does unexpected things. Equipment breaks. People make mistakes. So we train to adapt, to think on our feet, to improvise." Vexus thought about this. "You train for failure?" "We train for reality," Daehyun corrected, "which often includes failure. Then we learn to succeed anyway." In the medical bay, Yunji was teaching alien doctors about human emergency medicine. They were shocked by her methods. "You cut into the body while the patient is awake?" a Vixarian doctor asked, horrified. "Sometimes there is no time for full anesthesia. Local anesthetics work fast. The patient feels pressure but not pain. We can do emergency surgery in minutes if needed." "But the trauma, the psychological damage," Yunji shrugged. "Humans are resilient. Psychologically and physically, we heal, we cope. We move forward. On Earth, we have to. Our world does not give us the luxury of being fragile." The preparations continued for 3 days. Then the combined fleet departed, 400 galactic vessels and 27 human warships. It should have been a show of strength. Instead, it felt like a last desperate hope. The journey to the Zerathian convergence point took a week. During that time, Captain Woojin studied everything known about the machine intelligence. The data was ancient, from the last war thousands of years ago. But patterns emerged. They learn from every encounter, Woojin explained to the command staff. Every tactic we use, they analyze and adapt to. By the 3rd or 4th battle, they have perfect counters. "So we need tactics they cannot predict," Jinwoo said. "Exactly. That means abandoning standard military doctrine. No coordination. No unified strategy. Each ship operates independently, using instinct and creativity rather than planning." The galactic commanders were horrified when Woojin presented this plan. "That is chaos," one of them protested. "It is suicide. It is human," Minho said quietly. "It is how we survived on Earth. When the plan fails, when everything goes wrong, we do not give up. We adapt, we improvise, we fight with whatever we have." "The Zerathians will analyze your patterns," a Vixarian commander argued. "What patterns?" Hyejin asked. "If every ship does something different, if every captain makes their own decisions, there is no pattern to analyze. Only chaos. And humans are very good at chaos," Woojin added. The fleet dropped out of slipspace at the edge of the Broken Stars Nebula. The tactical displays lit up with contacts. Thousands of them. Zerathian ships, platforms, constructs. They were building something vast in the heart of the nebula, a structure that spanned light years. "Count," Jinwoo asked quietly. "Over 3,000 enemy contacts, sir, and more arriving every hour. 400 allied ships against 3,000 enemies. The odds were impossible. Mathematically, logically, they had no chance." Jinwoo smiled. "Well then, let us show them why mathematics do not work against Earth. All ships prepare for combat, and remember, when in doubt, do something unexpected." The battle for the Broken Stars was about to begin, humanity's first major battle for the galaxy. The Zerathians had logic, efficiency, and overwhelming numbers. The humans had something better. They had survived Earth. News traveled fast in the galaxy. Quantum communication networks carried the story of the battle across thousands of worlds within hours. A human fleet had appeared from nowhere. They had destroyed a Krellian raiding party. The Deathworlders were active again. On the capital world of Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. The council chamber was enormous, with seats for representatives from 46 species. Today, every seat was filled. The air thrummed with nervous energy and fearful whispers. Councillor Thren, an elder of the Vixarian species, called for order. His people were among the oldest in the galaxy, tall beings covered in silver fur with wise eyes. He had lived for 3 centuries and remembered things others had forgotten. "We must address the situation immediately," Thren said, his voice carrying through the chamber. "The humans have broken their quarantine. They have revealed themselves. We must decide how to respond." "Destroy them before they spread," shouted a counselor from the Krellian delegation. "They attacked our ships without provocation." "Your ships were attacking a civilian research vessel," Thren replied calmly. The humans responded to a distress call. "That is not aggression. That is duty." "They are Deathworlders," another counselor argued, "from a Class 12 world. Nothing from such a planet should be allowed to roam free. They are too dangerous." Thren tapped his claws on his podium, creating silence. "Let me tell you all a story. 200 years ago, we sent an exploration fleet to a newly discovered world. A beautiful blue planet covered in water and green lands. We thought it was a paradise." He activated a holographic display. Images appeared showing Earth from space. Mountains, oceans, forests. It looked peaceful. "We were wrong," Thren continued. "That world was a nightmare. The gravity was crushing. The atmosphere was filled with corrosive oxygen. The weather systems created storms that could level cities. The oceans were filled with monsters. The land was covered with predators. And everywhere, millions of microscopic organisms that could kill most galactic species in hours." The council chamber was silent. Everyone knew this story, but hearing it again sent chills through the audience. Yet intelligent life had evolved there. The humans, they thrived in that hell. Our exploration team thought they were primitive, so they decided to take specimens for study. They abducted 12 humans from different locations. New images appeared, recordings from the exploration ship. The council members watched as 12 humans were held in containment cells. They looked weak, scared. No weapons, no armor, just soft bodies and frightened eyes. 3 days later, one of them picked the lock on their cell using a piece of wire she found in the ventilation system. Her name was Suman. She freed the others. They were unarmed. Our security team had weapons, armor, training. There were 30 guards against 12 prisoners. The recording showed what happened next. The humans moved fast. They used tools, pipes, anything they could find. When guards fired weapons at them, they kept coming even when injured. When obstacles blocked their path, they found ways around or through. When locked doors stopped them, they broke through. In 4 hours, those 12 unarmed humans took control of the entire ship. 6 of them were injured. 1 had a broken arm. Another had been shot. They kept fighting anyway. They did not know how to fly our ship, so they held our crew hostage until we agreed to return them to Earth. Thren paused, letting the images sink in. We analyzed the recordings afterward. We studied their world. We learned the truth. Humans are endurance predators. On their world, they hunted prey by following it for days without stopping. They evolved to ignore pain, to heal quickly, to adapt to toxins. Their psychology is unique. They possess something they call spite. When you hurt them, when you push them into a corner, they do not surrender. They fight harder. A counselor from the Palaxian delegation stood up. "Counselor Thren, we have new information. One of our research vessels was saved by the humans just yesterday. My people witnessed their power firsthand, but also their compassion. They risked their lives to save us. They provided medical care. They asked for nothing in return. They are unpredictable," another counselor argued. "That makes them dangerous." "No," Thren said firmly. "We made them dangerous. We tried to abduct them. We tried to study them like animals. Then when they proved they could fight back, we locked them away and pretended they did not exist. We created our own enemy." Meanwhile, Admiral Jinwu's fleet was discovering the truth of Thren's words. Every station they approached closed its docks. Every planet they contacted refused communication. Ships fled when they detected human vessels approaching. "They are terrified of us," Commander Hyejin said, watching another station shut down rather than let them dock. "We saved that research vessel and the galaxy treats us like a plague." "We knew this might happen," Jinwu replied. 200 years of propaganda and fear. It will not change overnight." In the medical bay, Yunji had made friends with one of the rescued Palaxians. His name was Tellus, a young scientist who studied alien cultures. Unlike his captain, Tellus was fascinated rather than frightened by humans. "Tell me about your world," Tellus asked, his compound eyes reflecting curiosity. Yunji smiled. "Earth, it is beautiful. Dangerous but beautiful. We have mountains that reach into the sky, oceans deeper than space, forests filled with life, deserts where it never rains, ice caps where nothing should survive. And the gravity? The reports say it is crushing. It is normal for us. 1.0 on our scale. But yes, to most species it would feel like being pressed down by a giant hand. She paused. On my homeworld, I weigh 70 kilograms. Here on this ship in galactic standard gravity, I feel light, like I could float away. Tellus clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. That is why you are so strong. Your muscles evolved to carry you in high gravity. I suppose so. We do not think about it. It is just home. What about the diseases? The microorganisms? Yunji laughed. Earth is constantly trying to kill us with tiny things we cannot see. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. Our immune systems are incredibly aggressive. We get sick, we fight it off, we become stronger. It is normal. Normal, Tellus repeated. You use that word often. But nothing about you is normal to us. You endure things that would kill us. You heal from injuries that would be permanent for us. You drink caffeine. What is wrong with caffeine? It is a toxic stimulant to most species. You drink it for pleasure, Yunji shrugged. It helps us wake up in the morning. Tellus made a sound that might have been laughter. You are amazing and terrifying at the same time. On the training deck of the carrier Valor, Sergeant Minho was running his Marine unit through exercises. The artificial gravity was set to 1.2 Earth standard, higher than normal to keep them sharp. His Marines ran, jumped, fought in hand-to-hand combat, all while wearing full armor. To them, this was routine. To anyone watching from outside, it looked like torture. Faster, Minho shouted. If you cannot handle this, how will you handle real combat? The enemy will not give you time to catch your breath. His Marines responded with increased effort. They had been training since childhood on Earth's heavy gravity. This was easy compared to home. A young Palaxian technician watched through the observation window, his mandibles hanging open in shock. They are insane. That gravity would break my bones. That combat would kill me. They do it for training. His supervisor, an older Palaxian, nodded slowly. Now you understand why the council quarantined them. Imagine an army of such beings. Imagine going to war against people who consider that to be easy exercise. Back in the council chamber on Nexus Prime, the debate continued. Thren had been arguing for hours, trying to make the other counselors understand. We have two choices, he said. We can try to force the humans back into quarantine, which will mean war. A war we might not win, or we can accept them, work with them and hope they forgive us for 200 years of isolation. You would welcome monsters into our civilization? A counselor demanded. They are not monsters, the Palaxian representative said, standing. My people owe them our lives. They saved us when they had no reason to. They treated our wounded with care and skill. If they are monsters, then I wish more species were as monstrous. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Red emergency lights flashed. A massive holographic display activated in the center of the room. This is an emergency broadcast, a voice announced. The Zerathian collective has reawakened. 3 systems have fallen in the past week. All ships in the affected sectors have been destroyed or assimilated. The threat level is maximum. This is not a drill. The council chamber erupted in panic. The Zerathians were a hive-mind machine intelligence that had nearly destroyed the galaxy millennia ago. Everyone thought they were gone, destroyed, finished. Thren felt his old hearts beating fast. In 3 centuries of life, he had never been truly afraid. Now he was. The Zerathians were logical, efficient, relentless. They adapted to every tactic. They learned from every defeat. They never stopped. As chaos filled the chamber, Thren made a decision. He opened a private communication channel, one that reached across the stars to a fleet of human ships. Admiral Jinwu, he said when the human commander's face appeared. My name is Counselor Thren. I have a request. We need your help. The communication channel crackled to life. The face that appeared on the view screen made several of the bridge crew flinch. The Krellian warlord looked like a nightmare made real. His reptilian face was covered in scales, with multiple rows of sharp teeth visible in his mouth. His yellow eyes glowed with cruel intelligence. I am Warlord Threxus, the alien hissed. You have entered my hunting ground. Surrender your ships now, and I may let some of you live as slaves. Commander Taijin, who stood at the weapons station, felt his jaw tighten. He had read about species like this in the old files. Pirates who preyed on the weak, slavers who took prisoners and sold them. His hands moved closer to the firing controls. Admiral Jinwoo remained calm. This is Admiral Jinwoo of the Terran Defense Coalition. The vessel you are attacking has sent a distress signal. Leave now and we will not pursue you. Threxis laughed. The sound was harsh and mocking. Terran, I do not know this word. You fly 12 small ships against my 40 warships. You must be stupid or insane. He leaned closer to his screen. Look at you. Soft skin, weak bodies. You are prey, not predators. My ships will tear you apart, and I will sell your bodies to the medical researchers. They pay well for exotic specimens. Last warning, Jinwoo said quietly. Leave now. Make me human. Threxis spat the last word like an insult. Jinwoo nodded to Taejin. You may fire when ready, Commander. The Indomitable spoke with thunder. Its main railguns fired tungsten rounds at incredible speeds. The solid metal projectiles crossed the distance in seconds. Threxis's flagship shields flickered as they tried to absorb the impact. Then the shields failed. The tungsten rounds punched through the hull like it was paper. All ships engage at will, Jinwoo ordered. Show them what Earth builds. The Krellian fleet responded immediately. 40 ships unleashed their weapons. Plasma bolts, energy beams, and missiles flew toward the human fleet. The attacks were impressive, bright and deadly. They lit up space with colors and fury. Then they hit the human shields and armor. The plasma bolts that could melt through standard galactic armor barely scratched the human ships. The energy beams that should have cut through hulls scattered against armor designed to withstand Earth's caustic atmosphere and constant meteor bombardment. The missiles exploded against shields that were built to protect ships traveling through radiation storms. On the bridge of the Indomitable, a young ensign stared at the damage reports. Sir, the enemy weapons are barely affecting us. Hull integrity at 98%. Heejin allowed herself a small smile. They build their weapons for species with fragile ships. They have never fought Deathworlders before. The human fleet scattered into attack formations. Captain Yuna, commanding the destroyer Relentless, led her ship into a debris field. She used the floating wreckage as cover, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. When 3 Krellian cruisers moved to flank her, she was ready. The Relentless emerged from behind a broken piece of hull and fired all weapons at once. Target the engines, Yuna commanded. Make them drift. Make them helpless. Her crew obeyed with precision. The 3 enemy cruisers suddenly found themselves unable to maneuver, spinning slowly in space as their propulsion systems died. Yuna did not destroy them. She wanted the other raiders to see what happened when they fought humans. Fear was a weapon, too. In the fighter bay of the carrier Valor, Lieutenant Daehyun launched with his squadron. 24 human fighters shot into space. The young pilot felt the acceleration press him into his seat. The G-forces were brutal, but his suit and his body were designed for this. Every human pilot trained in high gravity. They could handle forces that would kill most alien species. Razor Squadron, form up on me, Daehyun called over the radio. We are taking out their fighter screen. The Krellian fighters moved to intercept. There were over 100 of them. Small, fast craft with energy weapons. They outnumbered the humans 5-1. Daehyun smiled inside his helmet. Execute Maneuver Delta 7. His fighter suddenly turned hard. The G-forces spiked at 12 times Earth's gravity. For 3 seconds, Daehyun felt like a giant was sitting on his chest. His vision narrowed. His suit injected chemicals into his bloodstream to keep him conscious. Then the turn was complete. The Krellian fighters tried to follow. They could not. Their pilots were not built for such forces. Those that attempted the turn either blacked out or died as the acceleration broke their fragile bones. The rest scattered in panic. They cannot match our maneuvers, Daehyun's wingman reported. They are too weak. Then let us use that, Daehyun said. All fighters, maximum aggression. Do not give them time to think. The human fighters tore through the enemy formation like sharks through fish. They moved in ways that should not be possible, turned at angles that defied logic, and accepted G-forces that would be lethal to anyone, not from a high-gravity world. Commander Taejin watched from the Indomitable as the tactical display updated. The enemy fleet was breaking apart. Some ships were trying to flee. Others were dead in space. A few still fought, but with desperation rather than confidence. Admiral, their flagship is hailing us, the communications officer reported. Jinwoo nodded. Put him through. Threxis appeared again on the view screen. This time he did not look confident. His ship was burning. Smoke filled his bridge. What are you? he demanded. Your weapons, your ships, your tactics. This is not normal. This is not possible. We are humans, Jinwoo said simply. We come from Earth, a Class 12 death world. Everything on our planet tries to kill us. The gravity, the weather, the animals, the diseases. We evolved to survive in hell. Your weapons were made for a softer galaxy. The Deathworlders, Threxus whispered. His eyes went wide with recognition and fear. The legends. I thought they were myths. We are very real, Jinwoo said. Now leave before we destroy every ship you have. The Krellian warlord did not need to be told twice. His remaining ships turned and ran, jumping into slip space as fast as their damaged engines could manage. In less than 2 hours, the battle was over. The human fleet had lost no ships. Casualties were minimal, mostly minor injuries from the high-G maneuvers. Status of the research vessel? Jinwoo asked. Still intact, sir. Life signs detected. They are weak but alive. Hyejin, take a team and secure that ship. Yoonji, prepare your medical bay. We are about to meet our first aliens. Medical officer Yoonji gathered her team and boarded a shuttle. As they approached the damaged research vessel, she felt her heart racing. This was history. First contact, after 200 years of isolation. She hoped she was ready. The alien ship's airlock was damaged, so they had to cut through. When they finally entered, Yoonji saw her first alien species up close. The Palaxians were insectoid, with 6 limbs and compound eyes. They reminded her of large mantises. Several were injured, green blood staining their chitinous bodies. Captain Velis saw the humans enter and felt a primal fear. He had heard the stories, the old tales from before he was born. Deathworlders, predators from a hell planet. They walked on 2 legs. Their eyes faced forward like hunters. Their mouths showed teeth white and sharp. They moved with confidence and strength. Please, Velis said in broken galactic common, hoping their translators would work. Do not hurt us. We meant no harm. Yoonji removed her helmet and smiled. She knew the gesture might not translate, but she tried anyway. We are here to help. I am a doctor. Let me look at your wounds. She approached slowly, keeping her movements gentle and non-threatening. Velis flinched but allowed her to examine him. Her scanner worked, analyzing his biology. Different from human, but the basics were the same. Blood carried oxygen. Organs performed functions. Bones provided structure. You are going to be fine, Yoonji said softly. All of you. We will get you to safety. As she worked, treating injuries and stabilizing the wounded, Captain Velis watched the humans with growing confusion. They were gentle, careful. They worked with precision and compassion. These were the monsters the galaxy feared? These were the nightmares that haunted old stories? Why? He finally asked. Why did you come? Why did you risk your ships to save us? Yoonji looked at him as she bandaged one of his limbs. Because you called for help. That is what we do. The answer was simple. Too simple. But as Velis watched the human medical team save his crew, he began to understand. Perhaps the galaxy had been wrong. Perhaps the monsters were not monsters at all. Captain Velis felt his heart beating faster as another explosion rocked the ship. Green blood dripped from a cut on his chitinous face. Around him, the bridge of the Harmony of Stars was falling apart. Sparks flew from broken control panels and the smell of burning circuits filled the air. Life support failing on decks 3 through 7, his navigator called out, her voice shaking with fear. Velis looked at the view screen. The stars spun in a sickening pattern as the ship tumbled through space. His 6 limbs moved quickly across the controls, trying to stabilize the vessel. It was useless. The Krellian raiders had hit them hard. Too hard. Captain, we need to abandon ship, his first officer said. Velis shook his insectoid head. The escape pods are damaged. We cannot leave. He paused, his compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights. Send a distress signal. All frequencies. All frequencies, Captain? Even the forbidden ones? Yes, all of them. His crew members' mandibles clicked nervously. But sir, the forbidden frequencies reach into Sector 0, the quarantine zone. I know what is there, Velis interrupted. Send the signal anyway. We have no choice. The distress beacon launched into space, broadcasting on every communication channel known to galactic civilization, including those that had been sealed for 200 years. Thousands of light years away, Admiral Jinwoo stood in the command center of Unity Prime, Earth's largest orbital station. He was a tall man with graying hair and sharp eyes that had seen too many battles. The peaceful years of isolation had been good for humanity. But Jinwoo sometimes missed the old days when challenges kept everyone sharp. Sir, we are receiving a distress call, Lieutenant Daehyun reported from the communication station. The young pilot was fresh out of the academy, eager and full of energy. Put it through, Jinwoo ordered. The message was garbled, translated poorly by their old alien language databases. But the meaning was clear. A ship was dying. People needed help. Commander Heejin stepped beside Jinwoo. She was his most trusted officer, a woman known for her careful thinking and strategic mind. Admiral, this could be a trap. We have not had contact with the galaxy for 2 centuries. There is a reason for that, Jinwoo nodded slowly. I know. But they are asking for help. If we respond, we reveal our location. We reveal that humanity is still here, still strong. The Galactic Council quarantined us for a reason. They quarantined us because they were afraid, Jinwoo said quietly. But people are dying out there. What kind of species would we be if we ignored that? Heejin sighed. She knew that tone. The Admiral had made his decision. I will prepare the fleet. Within 3 hours, 12 human warships assembled in formation around the massive dreadnought Indomitable. These were not the elegant curved ships that other species built. Human vessels were angular, brutal things covered in thick armor plates. They looked like weapons because that was exactly what they were. In the fighter bay of the carrier Valor, Lieutenant Daehyun checked his spacecraft for the 10th time. His hands moved over the controls with practiced ease. Around him, other pilots prepared their fighters. The atmosphere was tense but excited. This would be their first contact with alien species. Real aliens, not just the stories and old videos from the archives. Nervous? Asked his wingman, a pilot named Hyejin who shared a name with the commander but was no relation. A little, Daehyun admitted. What if they are hostile? Then we show them why Earth breeds the best pilots in the galaxy, she replied with a confident grin. In the medical bay, Chief Medical Officer Yoonji reviewed everything she knew about alien biology. It was not much. Most of the data was 200 years old. She had prepared beds, equipment, and medicines, but she had no idea if any of it would work on non-human physiology. Her staff looked to her for confidence, so she forced herself to appear calm. Remember, she told her team, whatever we see, whoever we help, they are still living beings. We treat them with respect and care. Understood? Her medical staff nodded. They were ready. Admiral Jinwoo stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching as the fleet entered slipspace. The journey would take 6 hours. He used that time to review the old records, the classified files about humanity's first contact with the galaxy. The reports made grim reading. 200 years ago, a Galactic Council exploration fleet had found Earth. They had considered humanity primitive, dangerous. They had tried to take human specimens for study. Those humans, led by a brave woman named Suman, had escaped. They had taken over the alien ship despite being unarmed and outnumbered. The Council had been terrified. Humans were from what they called a Class 12 death world. Earth's gravity was crushing. Its atmosphere was corrosive. Its diseases were lethal. Its predators were nightmares. Yet humans thrived there. They were strong, fast, and refused to give up even when injured. The Council had quarantined Earth's sector and forbidden all contact. Humanity had accepted this, retreating into isolation to build their own civilization among the stars. Now, that isolation was ending. Admiral, we are approaching the target coordinates, the navigation officer announced. Bring us out of slipspace, Jinwoo ordered. The Indomitable and its escort fleet dropped back into normal space. The view screens lit up with tactical data. There was the damaged alien research vessel, tumbling slowly through space. Its hull was breached in multiple places and debris floated around it. But they were not alone. Admiral, Daehyun called out, I am reading 40 warships. They are surrounding the research vessel. The bridge went silent. 40 warships. The human fleet numbered only 12. Identify them, Jinwoo commanded. Scanning now, sir. They match profiles in our old database. Krellian raiders. Pirates and slavers, Heejin stepped forward. Admiral, we are outnumbered more than 3 to 1. We should call for reinforcements. Jinwoo studied the tactical display. The alien research vessel would not survive long enough for reinforcements to arrive. He could see small shuttles moving between the raider ships and their victim. They were boarding. Taking prisoners. Taking slaves. All ships, Jinwoo said calmly into the fleet-wide channel. Battle stations. Prepare for combat, sir. Hejin looked at him in surprise. Jinwoo smiled grimly. They do not know what we are. They do not know what Earth makes. Let us remind the galaxy why they were afraid. He pointed at the view screen. Communications, open a channel to the raiders. Let us see if they are interested in talking. As the communication officer worked, Jinwoo felt a familiar feeling rise in his chest. It was not fear. Humans from Earth did not fear easily. It was anticipation. After 200 years, humanity was about to announce their return to the galaxy. The raiders were about to learn why humanity had been quarantined in the first place.